Hildryn is officially a beast in my book. What's good, folks? It's KnightmareFrame coming at you with a new Warframe video. It's a build video, a review video, and let's say tips and tricks video. We're here talking about the new Warframe that came out with the Buried Debts update. We got Hildryn. She's a support, tank, and a pew-pewist. That's a new way of saying DPS because it sounds fun. Pew-pew. As you all know from the dev streams and all other sources, she is a thick, juicy Warframe that is all about shields. She is the shield version of Inaros, so to speak, where her resources for her abilities are all dependent on her shields rather than energy. And I've come up with a build that makes her damn hard to kill, a balanced build that uses all her abilities with ease. And also, if I might add, that she is the new Index champion. First, she looks like Rhino, and now she takes his job? Girl, better slow down. Alright, let's take a look at her abilities. Her first ability is Balefire, a secondary exalted weapon, meaning pistol mods, guys, so a lot of damage. It's also the first exalted weapon in the game to be a first ability. This ability does mainly electric damage, but can be modded for anything when combined with proper elements. Now, Balefire, like any exalted weapon, can be modded separately. The downside of this weapon is that it has a slow projectile, and it's quite hard to aim with. But the great thing is that it explodes on impact given an explosion radius, and range mods increase the radius. So try to always shoot this into a cluster of enemies or at their feet. The downside of this ability is that you're slowed down when you shoot and cannot be very mobile. So don't stand as much when you're using this ability. And moving on to her second ability, making her the budget mag, Shield Pillage, where she releases a wave that expands and strips shields and armor. The more power you have, the more it will drain from the enemies. And this ability also replenishes you and your allies' shields, and if you have max shields, you gain overshields. It also scales with range. This ability has a 2-second duration without any duration mods equipped. So you've seen some people running around with fleeting expertise just to reduce the duration. But there's a trick to this ability. If you cast it and then recast it immediately once it's reached its maximum range, the ability will retract. Basically, you can pulsate this outwards and back. And what makes it powerful is that it's a status cleanser, removing any status procs on you. You can also cast your 2 mid-air, allowing you to get out of the way from any heavy hitting enemy. This can be helpful when you instantly buff your shields when your passive procs. Her passive grants her invulnerability for a few seconds when she runs out of shields, and she will rapidly start to regen shields. And if you immediately cast your 2 in that invulnerable state, you're back to max shields and have invulnerability. So she can be damn hard to kill. If paired with certain arcanes and sentinel mods, she is immortal. Her third ability, Haven, tethers onto allies and foes, replenishing and boosting allies' shields while damaging the enemies. It does radiation ticks and staggers the enemies. Unfortunately, they will not have the effects of radiated enemies, meaning they won't go crazy and start to attack each other. This also reduces your shield recharge rate when active, so the only way to replenish shields real fast will be to keep on spamming your 2, and of course with the help of the sentinel mods and arcanes. This ability scales really well with power and range. And finally, her fourth ability, Iron Man, or Woman. I mean Aegis Storm. It's a CC, DPS, and utility ability. You gain the ability to hover and affect enemies within range of your ability. You cannot use any of your equipped weapons in this mode, and will also not allow you to cast your second ability, so you have to know where and when to use it. While in this mode, you can now dual wield your first ability, so you can look and feel like Iron Man. The range of your CC will be determined by your height off the ground. The closer you are to the ground, the wider the range, and the higher you are, the narrower and tighter it becomes. Any enemy within range will be lifted off the ground and take periodic damage, and enemies who die in Aegis Storm will drop energy orbs. which will be really helpful for your shield recharge and allies. The height will also factor into your damage of the slam ability. The closer you are to the ground, the less damage you deal, and the higher you go, the more damage you deal. Because once you deactivate the ability or run out of shields, you will slam them into the ground and the damage will be based off your height. So it's up to you how you want to set up your Hildryn's positioning. The downside of this ability is that you move really slow, but going into your Tenno and Void Dashing will help you travel long distances and still remain an Aegis Storm. But the major downside is that her animation is locked when she goes out of Aegis Storm. No matter how high or low you are from the ground, you will be locked into this superhero landing animation. If you got anything more on Hildryn, do leave it in the comment section. So let's take a look how I've modded my Hildryn. It's a 3-forma build giving us loads of shields and shield recharge. I went for Redirection and Augur Accord because I did not own Primed Vigor. So if you got yourself a Primed Vigor, do replace Augur Accord. Fast Deflection, giving us that 90% shield recharge. Finally, some use for this mod. Adaptation to reduce the damage we take to our shields. Stretch to increase the range overall. Streamline for better shield usage. Armor Vitality and Intensify to give us that power and HP because she does need the health. And finally, Aviator, because I guess it helps out when she uses Aegis Storm, giving us a 40% damage reduction while airborne. Also, the dual Arcane Aegis for more shield regen, and because Arcane Barrier is hella expensive right now. But that's not all. We also utilize our Sentinels and Moas to give us more shield regen with the help of 2 mods, Shield Charger and Guardian. After some tests, if you have Guardian with Arcane Barrier, Guardian will always take priority. And even though Energy Orbs give shield recharge, Arcane Energize will not have the same effect on her shields. However, your Zenric Energizing Dash will give you shield regen over time. And now onto her Balefire build. I have 2 setups here, one for crit and the other for pure damage and status. The first build is a pure damage build, increasing its corrosive damage output. And since I'm mostly shooting at their feet, I decided to go with Magnum Force for the damage and decrease accuracy, just so I can scatter some of the projectiles. Anemic Agility for more fire rate since it's a charge-based weapon. And your basic damage and multi-shot mods. And alongside that, we have dual stat mods to give us corrosive. And to top it all off, we increase the corrosive by adding pathogen rounds. And the crit build sacrifices some damage and fire rate for the chance to crit. Now, since everything about her is revolved around shields, this makes her really hard to kill. So that's why I decided to take her into a hectic orb heist and index just to see what she can do under pressure. And with this build I have currently, they barely even made a dent. So what could make her more fluid as a Warframe and play really well is that I would say please get rid of that locked animation when you land out of your Aegis Storm, because it needs a place to utilize it to its full potential. In the meantime, I don't see any reason to be using this ability as much, because I just saw myself using her first 3 abilities a lot more. Alright folks, this concludes the video, and if you've enjoyed this video, please feel free to leave a like, share, and subscribe. For more, links will be in the description. Thanks for watching, and as always, peace.